Oh, what's the new episode? Oh God, no. Let's go listen to one of the old ones.
Welcome to amorephillyunion, the podcast where we swear to talk about the Philly Union, the whole Philly Union, and nothing but the Philly Union, with as few digressions as possible. We are your hosts. I'm C.
I'm E.
And I'm Paul.
And we think we have all the ghosts out of the machine this week. Thank you for those of you who were with us. Last week was wild. We actually recorded a podcast and a half due to various technical difficulties, and then realized that none of it actually went anywhere other than the ether. So E did a mini-sode just to keep us in your feed. And we're back this week with a proper podcast, as proper as you can do when we're doing Leagues Cup.
Pinkies are out. It's proper.
Proper. That's correct. So
pot out with the pinkies out.
So we have a lot to talk about as a result of sort of missing a week. So I don't know if you guys want to jump right into Leagues Cup. I know we have joked a lot about Leagues Cup. Leagues Cup Y is our official slogan.
Yes, although for me, it's starting to win me over. So
it is.
I am enjoying it,
but not because of the actually playing the games. It's more of the stuff around the cup competition.
Well, I mean, the Union are rolling out with their heavy hitters. They're playing to win, and they are running up scores. You know, I mean, one can make the argument if the Union are facing off against, the caliber of teams we're facing off against, but I mean, they're taking it seriously, and it shows on the field. And
that is kind of the point behind Leagues Cup was, in the past, we've seen the best of the Mexican teams against the best of the MLS teams. Mm-hmm. And for a long time, it was very clear that Mexico's best was far better than the MLS's best. Yep. And now we're actually getting to see the MLS best are getting up there with the Mexican best and are actually able to take it to them, as we've seen in the CONCACAF's Champions League. Mm-hmm. But now this Leagues Cup allows us to see the middle of the table and the lower teams playing against each other and seeing how they compare as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting because I just kind of figured, the very naive, simple calculus that, if the best of the Mexican league are that much better than the best of our league, then it just translates one for one across the entire spectrum of the table. But the
Mexican league is much more structured, like the EPL and other European leagues, where there's no cap.
Yeah, the top teams are really good, and the other ones are fighting for scraps. Yeah, so it's interesting. It's kind of highlighting the difference between kind of an open market system where anything goes versus a franchise system like and regulated like MLS. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But anyway,
and none of this is hurt by the once again absolutely crack job by the Philadelphia Union social media team. Who almost always does a really, really great job. They put out a video. I think I saw it today. I think it went out today. It may have gone out yesterday, but it was a Mexican family who recently started going to Union games and
they live in Philadelphia.
And they live in Philadelphia. That's correct. Apparently, accidentally, just because they didn't know the layout, bought tickets for the Sons of Ben section for their first game, so they were really in it up to the neck.
Yeah, jumping.
But they enjoyed it. They had a great time. Seem to go whenever they can now, and are very excited about Leagues Cup because the a gentleman in the video was saying that his father was a fan of Cruz Azul, and all this, they get to see the Mexican teams and they get to see the Union, and so it was like a win-win for them, and that was like, okay, fine,
Mhm.
fine, you win.
Mhm.
Vantage
I
point
did
that
find it
didn't have.
amusing that the wife in the video though was wearing a Carranza jersey, and all
Oh,
I
yeah.
could think of was Scoops. So,
Scoops.
what did
Hey.
she? How did she describe him? He's a very good-looking fellow, or
Very,
something.
very handsome man.
He's a handsome
Yeah,
man.
Handsome man. That's what
Yeah.
it was.
handsome man. Yep. So, yeah.
That was the and what, like you said, the social media team does a tremendous job.
Yeah, they do.
I certainly think it's awesome that they're reaching out to the Mexican residents here in Philadelphia, and trying to drum up more interest for the union. And if they honestly feel that way, great. I will still admit that I still wish we were playing league games, but
Yeah.
a couple of good wins for the union, and now where it goes is where it goes after this. So, but should we talk about the games that we have seen so far?
Yeah, let's jump into it. Let's do a quick synopsis here, I guess.
So no surprise, or no, we're not spoiling anything now that we're over a week out, but the union won their first two Leagues Cup games fairly handily. The first game was against Tijuana at Subaru Park, 3-1 victory for the union. Union rolled out their 4-4-2. Bueno actually started out right for Bedoya, and Sullivan started up top for Aura, but otherwise it was the regular back line and the rest of the diamond and everything.
Yeah, and that game got off to a real interesting start. Tijuana got 2 red cards, and that first one came in early in the 17th minute. Went to VAR. It's a denial of a goal scoring opportunity. Carranza was running into the box. So went to VAR. It was held, and for the next
almost 80 minutes,
73 minutes, they had to play down a man. But actually, good news, they didn't have to play 73 minutes down one man. They only had to play less than that, because then they'd be playing on 2 men after that point.
In the 50-something minute, the 55th minute, there was another foul, this time on Aura, and the second center defender for Tijuana got sent off with a straight red card for a dog. So.
A foul so nice, you got to commit it twice.
Yeah, but it was interesting. VAR in this one, especially that first one, they reviewed it. The referee on the field stopped play, and then the referee on the field never went and watched the video. He just trusted the VAR's call and agreed with it on the field. It was the first time I've ever seen that.
Yeah, I wonder if the ref, because I saw him right out there with his finger to his ear, like on his earpiece. I almost wonder if you can just kick it back up to them, like, hey, you guys have better eyes on this. You make the call, and I'll enforce it, or I don't know. It
seemed to be that's what happened in this case.
Yeah.
So the Union got 2 red cards, making it a very comfortable win.
Well, Tijuana got 2 red cards.
Sorry, Tijuana got 2 red cards. But Tijuana did get a goal back at the start of the first half. But Carranza scored 2 on the night. And VAR, once again, how did you put it, is the Union's 12th man?
The Union 12th man, VAR, yeah. I think we should get jerseys and just put VAR on the back.
I think that it's the only customized jersey I would get. Yeah.
And with the number 12 on the jersey.
Number 12, yeah.
Yep.
Now we know what the graphic is for this week's Instagram post.
So none of us got our predictions right, but none of us got our predictions wrong in this game, because none of us made predictions in this game. And we didn't make predictions for the second Leagues Cup game, which was another Union win. Very much even more comfortable win without the red cards, but a 5-1 win over Querétaro.
Yeah, I mean, arguably, I guess Querétaro's ranked a little lower than Tijuana. Like Paul, like you said, these aren't necessarily the
cream
top teams there, the cream of the crop there in the league. But it's a 5-1? Yeah, 5-1 win. And they played all 11 men. So
they were up though. The Union rolled out their 3-5-2. So Damian Lowe got a start. Harriel ended up in the right wing back spot for Mbaizo. Bueno and Martinez were in the middle with Gazdag up top, and then Wagner out left. And that time Aura and Carranza did start together. So
with a full triangle of death starting at the beginning.
That's right.
Do we know what's going on with Bedoya? Is it?
I didn't look it up.
No.
I do think it's they're letting him. I don't remember if it was an aggravation of the leg injury that he had earlier, or whatever. But I think they're just pretty much letting him rest until they absolutely need him. Which is fine by me. But
that makes sense.
It is. I'm sure he wants to be on the field.
Yeah.
If he was feeling healthy, he would be out there, and I'm sure Jim would let him be.
And I'm sure it's a conversation between Bedoya and Curtin and the medical staff. It's kind of like, with all respect, right? This is Bedoya's kind of nearing the end of his career, so you got to be a little bit more judicious about when you want to push yourself, a little bit more prudent. And so it's kind of like, do you want to push yourself in this tournament that, while is turning into be quite entertaining, it's really mostly just bragging rights, or do you want to like save your legs and your physique for later in the season when we're really going to need it to bring home this MLS Cup? So, I mean,
I'm sure he's got 1 year on. This is his last year on his contract. He signed that 1 year contract extension, and I'm sure that they probably have some incentives for him at certain points, and I would imagine they probably are exactly what you said, saving it for the season play. The big things in this game, there were 2 goals for the Union from outside the box.
Yeah, real pretty ones.
Gazdag scored the first goal, and that was from outside the box. Real nice power hit, just into the far side. That wasn't the end of scoring for Gazdag, though, as he then proceeded to score 2 from the PK spot over the course of the rest of the game to get a hat trick.
Yep,
I think it's Gazdag's second hat trick this year.
Wow. I'd be curious to see how that ranks in the league. I can't imagine there's a large crop of players out there racking up hat tricks.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised it's not the second in this tournament. It's just the way it's been going for him. But
but when you take the PKs, I don't know
He's,
what he does. I don't know what voodoo or which saint he's praying to, but somebody's getting that keeper to go that wrong way. Every single time. It's fascinating watching him do it.
Yeah,
I still wonder if it's him doing something that makes people jump the wrong way, or if he's literally watching them and kicking it where he can predict where they're going and goes the other way.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like starting to press the limits of statistical anomaly here, right?
Well, that's only if previous results influence current result, then yes. But
yes, exactly.
Each one is its own take, and
sure.
They just can't stop them.
Yeah.
The other big things in this game were Harriel getting a header goal off of a corner that was played in by Bueno, which was surprising since Wagner was on the field, but Bueno actually played a couple of corners in this game, and Harriel managed to put one away in the first half.
And we think this might be his second goal of the year, right? I think it might be his second goal. I'm going to say it's the second goal.
Yeah, good for Harriel.
Yeah, let's get it to 3.
And then McGlynn scored one, as I described it, as from the Delaware, because he had to be about 25, 30 yards out. And it was almost Glesnes.
Glesnes-esque
in his goal, because he just buried it from deep. And I believe, Christy, this was not their starting keeper for Carataro, right? Was this
No, in fact, this was his first start for them, period. And, not sure if I was projecting this at all, but he did have a sort of deer in headlights look throughout most of the game. He's out, he was in because their first string keeper is out with a broken jaw, which just sounds... bad. My mother, the aforementioned Scoops. Nancy was here watching this one with us, and it was around the 61st minute or so that she said, "Oh, this poor keeper is a sad sack." and started rooting for him, not them, just for him.
Just for him.
She knew that didn't make a lot of sense, but she didn't care because she felt bad for him. So yeah, it was a tough first game for him. So God love him.
Yeah, he kind of got thrown right into the
right under the threats. Yeah, for sure. So
yeah.
Oh, well, I only feel so bad for him, but the Union did get a 5-1 win. I maybe I should be a little more, I don't know, charitable. But,
it's got to help him build some character. That's for sure.
So, putting that one to bed, then on last Friday evening, we had Union 2 versus Wrexham, stars of the small screen.
Those actors are good players.
I know, right? So, and that was a 1-1 draw. And
what a crazy game. I mean, it was basically two different games.
Well, you know what can cause that? A 2.5-hour weather delay.
Yeah.
In between.
I mean, technically, those games were almost played on different days.
Yeah, almost. Pretty close.
I'm impressed anybody stuck around for that. Resuming of that game. It was just tough. That was really tough. I did find it amusing though that they posted as false advertising. What was that?
The keeper from Wrexham was showing how bad the weather was, and they had the severe weather alert thing up on the big screen. So Rob McElhenney posted something about it. It's not always sunny in Philadelphia. Sorry, Wrexham. Which was very cute. But yeah.
Yeah, it was neat to see some of the Union bench players get some time. Union 2, but as Quinn Sullivan did get to play in this game. Christie's favorite Drexel Dragon, Chris Donovan, got to play in this game.
Yeah, you're number 2.
Always number 2 at best. So I just saw the highlights. Certainly seemed like a rainy mess out there to be playing, but the guys seemed to have a good time, and they gave the fans what entertainment they could.
Yeah, that was a pretty good turnout there, at least at the for the first half for the rain weather delay.
And I know Rob was there. I think there were a number of the cast members were there. I know they were planning to be there because they were actually going to record an episode of the podcast, the It's Always Sunny podcast.
Oh, really?
They've actually put that on hiatus.
Right.
What should we call it for the strike?
They're
not doing that right now. So
they did get him, the social media team once again, did get him to answer, some questions about Philly, like, best stakes and all that kind of stuff. So he took his crack at the Philly accent.
Really?
And did very much sound like our brother-in-law, Tom, in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Really turned it on pretty well. So
cool.
Although I thought it had a slight Welsh tint to it, but
did you? Yeah. Well, yeah. He has been learning Welsh. So
yeah, he has been learning Welsh. Yeah.
Maybe it's tainted now.
Yeah.
And then another tidbit that came out was the CONCACAF club ratings, and really want to bring this up because the Union were the highest ranked MLS team in all of CONCACAF. They were ranked number 8 overall. Wow. And the next nearest MLS team was LAFC at 11, and Nashville at 14, and RSL at 15. So, hey, kind of cool. It's it was based off of they awarded points based on club performance in different competitions, leagues, cups, the US Open Cup, the CONCACAF Champions League, the MLS Cup performances, all of those things added in points. And so the Union did very well. It was kind of nice to see them getting a little love outside of MLS.
Rarefied air. It's nice.
Yeah. More importantly, though, last week Blake became a U.S. citizen.
USA. USA.
Yes, it was. It was. I was just checking Instagram, and they have that irritating 5 days ago. So I assume that means somewhere around the 26th or so. Yep, became a U.S. citizen. So dual citizenship for he and his wife and
Their kids, their two
their
kids.
Yeah. So
Now, how old is Blake? You
I
guys
don't
know
know.
offhand?
I don't know offhand.
If do you think he's older than 30?
We will find out.
I literally just had this thought because one of the things that has always kept Blake from getting transferred overseas is that the paperwork to get a visa to play professional sports in a European league is difficult because Jamaica has never broke, I think, the top 50 in an
Yes,
ranking.
you did mention that once. Yes, I remember that now.
But now that Blake is a U.S. citizen, if he did a one-time switch, became a U.S. national goalkeeper, is this all a big effect to move Blake to Europe? I don't want to see him go, but that'd be freaking fantastic.
So basically, if we see Blake suit up in red, white, and blue for a game, it's like, oh man, he's going to Europe next.
Yeah.
I guess it's a blessing that he's already played for his national team and FIFA has the rule.
I guess,
but no, you can make a one-time switch.
Oh, a one-time switch. Oh, I hear you. Okay, I understand.
Now that he's got a dual citizenship, like he could make a switch and play for the U.S. Now, with that said, Matt Turner's no slouch, and there's a pretty good crew of U.S. Goalkeepers, but yeah, it would be possible. I actually remember having that conversation about Blake with the guy sitting behind me in the last Union game that I went to, talking about why Blake was still at the Union, and that was part of it.
Yeah. I would be surprised if there was some sort of water cooler conversation at the U.S. soccer headquarters. Well,
they wouldn't be doing their job if they didn't at least discuss it.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see Blake go anywhere club-wise, but that would be an interesting idea if he came and played for the U.S.
Yep.
For the record, he is 32.
32.
Oh, okay, so it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
He's keeper, though. Keepers have longer shelf life.
Yeah. They do. But they're going to be playing U.S. keepers for the future, I'm sure, rather than bring Blake on.
Yeah, probably true.
Just something that popped into my head that would be crazy if that actually happened.
Yeah. It's kind of the makings of some crazy movie, where
but I mean, hey, if MLS can do all these machinations to get Messi and Busquets and others to go to Miami, maybe they could do something like that.
Anything's possible, yeah, right.
So before we entirely leave the Union for other topics, skipping ahead a little bit on our agenda here. So the Union acquired $300,000 in general allocation money from NYCFC for loaning Perea for half a season.
For half a season.
$300,000
for half a season.
Pretty
That's
nice
awesome.
move.
Yeah.
So just to put this in perspective, the Unions got Perea for $450,000 in general allocation money in 2023 general allocation money, and $300,000 in 2024 general allocation money, with a chance of another $100,000. So all totaled, they spent about $850,000 in general allocation money over 3 years. For Perea, and they just got 300 back of it for half a season of loan.
Man,
pretty slick move by
Tanner. It's sure. Yeah, you said Tanner's working his magic there behind the scenes.
No,
so, and plus we get him back a half a season, so that's good.
And he wasn't. I mean, with Bueno coming on as strong as he has, Flox coming on as strong as he has, Bedoya playing as solid as he has been, I just don't see a whole lot of time for Perea, especially since Torres was, the next Torres, McLean. There's a lot of others in front of him. So
Mm-hmm.
better to get something for a depth piece than nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a hefty amount.
Yeah.
And hopefully that means that he'll actually get some playing time too. So
And my one question is like, do we play New York City at all for any more this season? Or are we done?
I
don't
think
know.
we are done. I think we played them twice.
Yeah.
I think. I'm almost certain.
So in which case I wish Perea an amazing second half of his season.
as always, unless he faces,
Unless he faces
the
us.
Union in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yes.
In which case I hope he quickly gets over that 24-hour bug.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
No, maybe they came with a term that he can't play against Philly.
Yeah, it's kind of like a prior knowledge proprietary what's it called, a non-disclosure agreement.
I wanted to say prenup, but that's not right.
Prenup.
A non-compete.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. I like prenup. That's pretty good.
So jumping to the biggest news in world soccer at this point, of course, is the Women's World Cup and the USA's performance therein.
Man.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Not everything can be 13-0 is what I'm saying.
I know. It's
what did we say about Bendick? He's doing far better than I could do, but
so, spoiler alert, they made it out of group.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean, definitely yay. Definitely yay. Just the manner by which they did it.
I think the overall feeling in this household is it does feel a little right now. Does feel a little bit more like we're watching the men's team and we watch the women's team, so we don't have to think about the men's team. But so I have to say, as far as the first game goes, USA Vietnam, they won 3-0.
Yeah.
And there were people I was talking to who do follow women's soccer. In fact, some who follow women's more than men's were expecting it to be like 8-0, 9-0, so just really rack it up. And I saw one of the former players speaking, and she's like, we just can't win because when we won 13-0, we should have pulled back. When we won 3-0, then we didn't win by enough. Yep. And she said a win is a win, especially in group. So basically, she didn't say this, but the subtext was knock it off.
But to be fair, Vietnam played a very good game.
Yeah. I mean,
that keeper did everything, but at one point she may very well have stood on her head.
I think she did.
And they came out playing a 5-back defensive position, and they gave the US not much room to play in. Now you give the US 90 minutes of attacking, and they're pretty much going to score on anybody, and they did, but they only got 3. And so I know coming out of that game, the commentators were actually saying, well, Vietnam could actually take this a bit as a little bit of a positive in that they only gave up 3.
Yeah,
right.
And
it was a 3-0 draw, right?
Yeah. And then for US Netherlands, thank God Haran got mad.
Yeah. Oh yes,
because I really think that helped. I mean, it was definitely Hulk smash. Hey, Union Hulk, how you doing? Kind of moment, because that was she got up in her teammate's face, her real life teammate's face. Thank you. When by real life I mean outside of World Cup.
Play for Lyon, I believe.
That's right, and then smashed it into the back of the net and equalized. Thank heavens. Yeah,
because they look kind of listless in that game. Like the U.S. just couldn't get it moving.
Right.
They weren't totally outplayed, but they just seemed to struggle making connecting passes and any sort of dangerous movement.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there was a couple points, but obviously the Haran goal was one of them, where there's a small burst of this, U.S.
I will say I was impressed by Rodman in that game. Trinity Rodman had a good game out on the wing. but there was not a lot of space, and the Netherlands team played a great game to try to muck it up a bit for the US.
Yeah. In some ways, like we said about like the union at the beginning of the season, right? And they were struggling against these other teams because they were playing like us. And it kind of felt like that way with the Netherlands game. The US was struggling against the Netherlands. They were playing like us. And I think that's kind of another, for me at least, it's an important part of this larger picture, right? I mean, the US has been dominant for so long. Honestly, I got to imagine, with a very few exceptions, I don't know any other team, club or national, that has dominated for as long as this women's team has dominated. And so it's no stretch of the imagination. First one, everyone's bringing their A game against the US. And second, right, their playbook has been, studied through and through by everybody. It's almost like impossible for us to come to the field with some new trick we're going to pull off. It's just, so basically people study the US team, and we have a big target on our back, so people will be gunning for us.
And two other things I heard today, and you can take these for what they're worth, is that apparently the starting lineup was the same for Netherlands as it was for the Vietnam match. And the women's team, according to what I heard, had not done that since the 1999 World Cup. They usually switch it up in some way. Now, there's no rule that you have to do that, obviously, but there was just some speculation, some talk about, were people tired? Were they, feeling like, maybe there should have been some changes for who they were facing, it's a very different team, that kind of thing. Also about the manager, that he is well liked and great with his players, but he gets very, very deep in the analytics, as you call it in my work world, in the numbers and the specs of things. And
this was the US actually, manager.
And this was actually Julie Foudy saying that her opinion was that you can kind of get into a paralysis by analysis kind of thing, where he's so deep in the numbers he doesn't see the forest for the trees, mixing my metaphors here. But so it's just some thoughts to ponder as we move forward as to why things might not be gelling at the moment. Maybe they'll have some more luck going forward, but
so we're still waiting to hear exactly who their next matchup's going to be. Although it definitely looks like it's going to be, Sweden is a very, 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 very high probability.
And we didn't really quickly, Portugal game.
Oh yeah.
0-0.
Yeah, that was probably for me the least inspiring game of the three games.
Well, Portugal looked like the better team.
Like,
to be honest.
Like, okay, USA versus Vietnam 3-0. Okay, yeah. Me personally, I think we could have gotten some more goals, but credit to Vietnam, and 3-0 is a big score.
Yep.
1-1 against the Netherlands. We had a few bubbly moments of that US play, and fortunately one of them was involving an angry Haran, and she scored. But this US Portugal game, it was just,
if it were not for a well-placed goalpost.
Yes. Oh, we
would have lost that game.
Yeah, we would be talking about the US team in the past tense.
Yeah, because there was a kind of a mini screamer coming in, and had it been an inch to the left, it would have gone in, but saved by the woodwork.
Yeah.
And they really played their hearts out, and I honestly kind of felt bad they were going home, but
Portugal.
Yeah.
Oh, Portugal.
Portugal. Yeah. Sorry. Excuse me for not clarifying. But yeah, USA and all that, but
yeah.
So
I mean, Portugal played a good game again, and not to beat up too much in the US. I mean, credit due is credit due. I think Portugal. That was their game to lose almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
I did feel bad that Vietnam did not score a goal. That was like one of the team's goals was to get one
goal
during the group stage, and they did not manage to do that.
They were this World Cup's Tahiti, right? Which is still one of my favorite World Cup moments when they scored. And I think they scored against Spain. I think they did.
Might have been.
And that was their only goal. And for those guys, man, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. That was like they won the World Cup. So I feel bad for Vietnam in that respect too. Yeah. So, well, hopefully this is that wake up call, right? Hopefully this is that shot across the bow, whatever metaphor works, that this kind of galvanizes the team to kind of start playing like we know they can. And
unfortunately, they will not have Rose Lavelle for the next game.
Really?
Yeah, she got hurt. Yellow card
accumulation.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Which is impressive because she was a sub in the first game. And I think she may have been a sub in the Netherlands game as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, she came in and had a bit of a bite in that Netherlands game. She was pretty frustrated with them.
Yeah.
She's in the Martinez role here. So
yeah. Wonder if she's a Leo.
She might be. Find out. All right. Well, moving back to from our digression. Upcoming games in the Leagues Cup, the Union hosts DC United on Thursday, August 3rd at 8 p.m. It is a single elimination game again.
Yeah, because now the round of 32, everything I think is all single elimination now from here on out.
Yeah, but I said again, and I shouldn't have. I apologize. This is a single elimination game for the first time.
Yeah.
Right. And it is still the same rules where they go 90 minutes, and if there's no winner, they go straight to PKs. And at this point, you win the PKs, you advance. So it's always good to see him play DC. Hopefully, Carranza goes off and scores a hat trick against them.
Past performance and all that.
I mean, if the Union are going to be in the Leagues Cup, hopefully they keep winning.
Yeah. DC, there are 2 games in the Leagues Cup. They beat Montreal 1-0, but they lost 3-0 to Pumas. So I'm not really sure how to interpret that in terms of predicting what's going to happen on Thursday, but I suspect it's going to be an entertaining game.
Yeah. I'm hopeful.
See what Rooney rolls out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you guys want to make predictions?
No.
This is for MLS versus MLS?
No. Yeah. I'm abstaining for the Leagues Cup. I'm just going to enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm giving up predictions for Leagues Cup.
Leagues Cup, yeah, exactly. That and chocolate.
Yeah. I'm not.
No, not really. Okay.
So just as an update for us, help us help the U challenge or whatever tonight. Despite the fact that we only had a mini-sode last week, we're at 576 downloads. So
that was a big jump.
Yeah.
So thank you to everybody that tuned in to find out what the heck happened. And Eric, thank you for getting something up there in the meantime.
Well, funnily enough, that episode I think only had a fraction of those downloads. It's people just downloading the other episods.
Where the heck are they?
Oh, what's the new episode? Oh God, no. Let's go listen to one of the old ones.
But yeah, so we're at 576. As a reminder, we're trying to see how fast we can get to 1,000 downloads. If we get there before the end of the season, we're going to donate to the Union's foundation. If we get there, for every month that we get there early, we'll donate a little extra. So to help us get the word out. If we can do it in August, that would be great. We still have a couple months left in the season, though. So we would like to be as generous as we can. So
yes, we would.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so our website is amorephillyunion.com. Email is pod@amorephillyunion.com. Twitter or X, thank you, Elon, is amorephillyu. Instagram, YouTube, and Threads, amorephillyunion. And you can get our podcast wherever you get yours. Any podcatcher of choice, including Google, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Player FM, etc.
Cousin Steve.
The guy in the alley. Subscribe, like, comment, and spread the word, please. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in for another episode of More Philly Union. We're your hosts. I'm C.
I'm E.
I'm Paul. Go Union!
Did we start it yet?
We are recording.
Okay. You want me to go?
Whenever you're ready, you're driving.
Welcome.
Go Union!
Oh, he had that in the chamber ready to go.
I quit.
Drop mic.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
this is no longer two guys, a girl on a podcast.
now I know what the stinger is for this episode, so got that one out of the way.